and I'm here in the 2v2 Open Final with the 4 heavyweights who have made it there. I'm also dualcasting today with the Killer from the
Hello!
and we are pretty pumped, aren't we?
Yes, this is the first match of the 2v2 final that everyone's been waiting for. This is the epic crackdown between 4 very good players.
We started in very similar positions, but Klopp's managed to delete his commander because he's very special.
Yes, Gunshin already says in before delete, and
Indeed.
Neptunio forced Clubs to never say anything ever again in chat.
And so we have an interesting situation here. Team Blue have spawned together. They've got a nice bit of mass next to them. We've currently got one of the players heading left, one of them heading right, and they are actually a little bit sandwiched in between Team Pink. So on one hand they can get attacked from both sides, but on the other hand they can also double rush towards one of the players. So it's going to be interesting to see who scouts and what decisions they make.
Yes, obviously Team Blue is easier to find because they're concentrated in one spot. It would be... by this I mean if they find them they already know where both players are.
All the players now getting out their first bot factory. Looks like Team Blue is a little bit behind. Had to do a bit of walking there. But as long as they expand, they definitely have an advantage by spawning together.
It's easier to defend, that's one thing at least. But you do sacrifice that early, easily accessible map control. Looking at income, Klops' team is currently ahead in metal income.
Okay. And I'm just clarifying there that there's a little pathfinding bug where you can move across small bodies of land to get between pools. I'm just clarifying that that is okay, particularly at the South Pole. Players can move between these pools if it's possible.
That could result in some interesting strategies.
We see first air coming up from this pink player on the left.
Ah yes, it's anti-air fighters, so it's a defensive move.
Yeah, he's not going to go in for any scouts, going to go straight in for fighters.
To probably take out any bombers he expects.
Team Blue just working fairly normally, got a lot of engineers on the mass extractors, so it looks like they're going to eco up pretty quickly. Team Pink being a little bit more aggressive. We actually see scampers coming out from the pink guy on the right.
Yes, but they currently don't know where the enemy is yet, so... Like we discussed in other videos, it all depends. If you sacrifice building power yourself, you really have to take away building power from the enemy.
Okay, got it. So Colour Colin is the guy on the right. This actually really helps me with commentating. I know quite a bit about the players' playstyles, and Colin is very much a macro player, and it looks like he's a little bit further away than Gunshin, and so he's in a good position to do a lot of macroing, expand a lot out the back of his base, and potentially let Gunshin get rushed a little bit early on.
Is Gunshin a better micro player then?
He's just very efficient at spamming and being quite nice and aggressive. Colin just very efficient at grabbing a whole load of eco and building it up very, very efficiently.
We do see Klops' team spreading out a lot with her base. They want to go for a really spread out large base. They're kind of following the metal areas.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. We do actually see a second air going up for Team Blue as well, which is definitely nice to see. One air factory is never really enough. And first scout coming out immediately for Team Blue, heading off over to the left, and it looks like it's just going to avoid Gunshin there, so he doesn't notice him immediately. That's very lucky for Gunshin. He wants to remain undetected for as long as possible here.
You'd think the scouts almost could see each other, but just quite didn't.
Not quite there. However, Gunshin is going to come in from the south, might even head in towards Team Blue.
Team Pink really has to step it up. Klops' team has way more metal right now.
Here we go, first fighter heading straight in for Colin, and he does a little route there and notices that engineer and that radar being built. So I think we're going to start seeing some action soonish.
Yes.
It's a little bit unusual 5 minutes into the game, loads of units flying about, but no one really scouted each other yet. And another fighter coming in here for Team Pink as well.
Scouting the entire main base now, so they actually know exactly where Klops' team is.
Being chased by a fighter, and they're going to exchange fire and kill each other.
Yeah, both died actually.
And on the left hand side we see Gunshin getting very, very close to Team Blue here. and we're probably going to start seeing some action happen.
He hasn't really built that many factories yet, so for his he might be deterring a bit from his differentiating a bit from his spam ways, or just building up some more eco before he does.
He's building some vehicle factories very close now, and we actually see tanks moving forwards from Team Blue, and this is where the action really starts now. They're going to move forwards. These engineers are in danger, but you see Gunshin moving them away immediately, making sure he saves those engineers. Nice little save there.
Yeah, Team Blue should really push their advantage because they are still ahead in the economy game, at least metal-wise.
And looking at production as well, we see factories going up on the right-hand side of Team Blue's base and lots going on the left-hand side. So it looks like they're going to be pretty aggressive and get those units out and start being aggressive. We can already see Gunshin in a little bit of trouble, getting up turrets in his base, moving his commander forwards to assist as well. And he's going to be on the defensive for the rest of the short-term future. We do actually see Colin as well, moving his commander away from his base immediately in at Team Blue, and this is a common strategy in this situation. Gunshin is going to be rushed and he is going to have to defend here, and it gives Colin a good opportunity to go in with his commander and do some real damage while they're occupied.
I found out why Team Pink is so behind in the economy game. They've actually been energy stalling for a couple times this match, so that's really, really bad.
Yeah, this early on that is a problem. We don't see too many power gens out for Team Pink already. Quite a few at Gunshin's side, which is a bit of a risk. Gunshin obviously is in a little bit more danger, so you don't want too many power gens at that sort of player.
He's moving in his commander with engineer support, so he's going to go aggressive with his commander, which he should because he doesn't have that many units on the ground.
Yep, he gets a free win against that turret with the repairing from the engineers, and he's going to keep moving forward, see if he can take out some of these factories. We see both commanders from Team Blue heading in to attack Gunshin, and Colin getting closer and closer to the right-hand side. He's put up a turret that he can retreat to, and we'll no doubt see him start to attack. This is going to get very interesting very quickly. Gunshin getting in among these factories now. The bombers just took out his engineers, which is a bad loss. Getting out a couple of Uber cannons there, taking down one of those factories, and going to start making headway.
Yes. On the other hand, Colin is also being aggressive. They realize they have to step it up and be more aggressive because they are still behind. They've been behind the entire match now in the economy game.
Yep, Team Blue are doing very well. They're also moving southwards with 3 groups of engineers, which is perfect because if they don't move south or north, then they really will be stuck in the middle and will lose all map control.
You've actually miscounted one. They have 4 groups of engineers building maxes in the south.
Very good, very good. So that's really great expansion. We see both commanders now chasing Gunshin off. He's still on full life, but he's forced to go. And we actually see both the blue commanders looking like they're heading straight towards Gunshin's base.
On the other hand, Colin is moving in with his commander, just skirting these factories and trying to kill them.
Yep, just staying at range for the moment, being a little bit cautious. He can always run back towards his turrets. And we see both commanders really trying to chase Gunshin down. And Gunshin's going to have to keep walking here, because if you're in range of both commanders, then you can't get out of range unless you manage to block with some units.
Yeah, it seems that the commanders are a bit undecisive whether they wanted to go for the base or for the commander. And they're moving forward to the base now.
It does look like they might have been fighting for control there.
Yep, and seems like one of the players took over now, and the other players probably focusing on the other front, fighting Colin now.
Yep, on the right hand side, Colin beginning to make some progress, taking care of a couple of mechs. We see turrets being put up and a pelter up as well. Pelter can obviously outrange the commander, try and keep him at bay. We also see tanks now being produced by Colin coming in to support his commander as well.
He doesn't have any engineers repairing though, it's just the one right now, so he has to be very cautious now.
And he's already lost about a third of his life, so he does need to be careful.
Does he realize that the pelter is shooting him?
Yep, he's fallen below 50% now. More pelter shots coming in. Definitely needs to be careful.
Moving
nice
back.
defenses from Team Blue.
He's moving back now.
And the production advance there has really helped him. And we're going to see Colin he's going to have to go back, maybe assist his commander to repair himself, and hopefully get some more engineers forward as well.
Looking at Gunshin's base, he has his commander in his base again, a fair amount of troops, some turrets, so he's secure for now.
Yep, and both these commanders are actually going to retreat here because we see all these tanks coming in. They need a little bit more support. There's a lot of ants in Blue's base though, so if they use all of those ants and send them in, then they can actually do some decent damage. It looks like they're heading to the south though to try and take care of this little expansion, these couple of factories that have been built.
It's quite a tense match.
Yeah, I mean, it must be pretty difficult to play at the moment. Team Blue, though, are completely in it because they've expanded south, got a whole load of eco, and doing very well for themselves, still managing to expand. If we have a look at Team Pink, Gunshin has not expanded at all. Having a look over at Cola, and he has expanded very, very little. What are the medal income looking like for the two teams at the moment?
We've got 300 for Team Blue and about 200 for Team Pink, so they're losing more and more on this this metal income game.
We now see Levelers attacking Gunshin's commander, also taking care of some of these engineers, and as soon as Levelers are out, you are in trouble. Gunshin manages to fire on the Leveler though, and he's going to take it out.
Commander's moving in as well.
Ants as well. And Gunshin's commander may be done for. His engineers are going to go down. It looks like there's no way he's going to be able to get away from this. Commander's trying to chase him down, trying to stay out of range as well. One of those commanders for Team Blue is pretty low on life, and it looks like Gunshin has just got away here.
Whoa, that is a very narrow escape. Commander's moving in again. Perhaps he can exchange one. That would be nice.
Yeah, that might have been a really nice move if he could have done an uber cannon and then chained a double explosion.
His commander's being healed now, and he's forcing them to move into the turrets. This turret will slow down these commanders.
Yep, the commanders now turn around. They can't head any further in. They want to use their levelers and get their range on the go.
Yeah. On the other hand, Colin has been pushed off by this massive Tech 1 spam, and is now losing ground again.
Great work from Team Blue, managing to win on the right-hand side and totally push back Colin's commander, which gives them free reign now to be very aggressive against Gunshin.
And if you look at the expansion, it's just sick. These groups of engineers, uncontested. They're not even building that many defenses in their expansion, and just uncontested expansion over here because their front lines are so busy.
Yep, it's a bit risky not to be having any turrets in there, but nothing too wrong with that because they're not under too much pressure at the moment.
We can see Colin stepping up his expansion now.
A couple of bots heading straight down the middle in towards this engineer in these power gen fields. And so it looks like they can walk straight across the middle of this shallow water here, which is something that's very important to know. Commanders, however, moving forwards for Team Blue, and they're moving straight in at Gunshin's base here.
They're fully healed again. And as you can see, the turrets have been mostly taken out now. Gunshin's commander is also at full health again.
We see two levelers coming straight in as well, and another one following in behind, and those levelers are really going to make things difficult for Gunshin. We see Gunshin is actually starting on T2 now with 6 engineers to try and get that out. Levelers fighting in against the commander, doing a whole lot of damage to him, bringing him below 50% again, and the two blue commanders beginning to move in, taking care of quite a lot of ants, and they need to be very, very careful of double explosions here. Very, very careful indeed. It's always nice as well to get both the commanders assisting each other because they can shoot while they are assisting. And Gunshin in so much trouble now and very low life with levelers moving forwards, and he may not be able to get away here. He's desperately running away, and he just gets away in time. But did you see that one shot from the leveler nearly killed him? He is one shot from death.
He's retreating into his base. Has more turrets to slow them down, but that's basically it's slowing them down. The levelers are gone now though, so that's a good one. More on the way though.
Do see the blue engineers trying to assist each other, get a little bit more life, and they're going to start pushing forwards with the commander. On the other side of the base, we see Colin still moving forwards with the commander, trying to get a couple of wins. But at the moment, he's not making too much progress on the right-hand side.
It's basically a tug of war between this giant Tech 1 army and then Colin's commander and his smaller Tech 1 army.
Nice moves from Team Blue with repairing the commanders while they're nicely in range.
It is still quite risky though. We're at minute 7 or 8 in the game. We have levelers starting to pop up here and there. It's quite risky to have two commanders that close to each other.
It is definitely risky, but Team Pink still have not got many levelers up. Colin's actually starting on it now with 6 engineers, and we see Gunshin is almost finished his T2, but they're way behind Team Blue. Team Blue have definitely already got lots of T2 production up. They're working on their 3rd factory at the moment.
They also have a lot of spare production power. Look at all those engineers next to the left T2 factory. They can, if they want to, spam up anything they want quite fast. But they're really focusing on attacking now, building more factories towards the south as well.
And we're going to see the power go down for Gunshin now, and that's going to affect Colin as well. And Colin just hasn't expanded enough out the back of his base. He really should have been concentrating on hard expansion while Gunshin was under pressure, but he elected to go for the aggressive move and try and attack them from behind instead. Gunshin's commander actually been fully repaired in all this time, so he's still fighting and trying to hold on for as long as possible. One strategy in this situation is merely to not die for as long as possible, and really occupy their forces for as long as possible so that Colin can get a whole load of eco going.
Yeah, it's not working for them though. They're not against blue team's eco right now.
Couple of ants and a single leveler trying to take on the commander here, and that leveler's what's going to end it. Gunshin's got to start running. If that leveler chases him, he's down.
Yeah, but he still has the turrets up, and there's still a difference of 100 metal income gross between the two teams.
We also see him assisting his T2 factory to get those levelers out nice and quick. And we actually see 3 levelers on the field for Gunshin, which is actually going to force these blue commanders to run away because they're pretty isolated here. And as soon as the levelers come out, you really cannot be fighting with your commander. It's too risky.
Blue team moving in their levelers and all their production power as well. All the engineers are going to probably make some sort of pelter rush, and obviously healing the commanders.
We see some nice ants from Gunshin heading along the south of Blue's base and coming in, which is definitely something that needs to be dealt with. And on the right hand side, Team Blue is moving in towards Colin, who's taken a lot of damage with his commander, is desperately running. He's stuck in amongst the power gens. He's not going to be able to escape. Colin is going to go down here, stuck amongst the power gens.
And boom, there he goes.
There he goes. He can still obviously control his units, and everything is down to Gunshin now. You would have thought that Gunshin would die, but he's actually still in the game. Commander's sitting on about a third of his life there.
And now we can see Blue's forces starting to mop up this base, taking out vital economy structures.
Yep, Team Blue are going to kind of do as much damage as they can, not let them get back on their feet. And we're now not going to see too much commander fighting. I wouldn't be surprised if Team Blue pretty much stayed in their base and just played nice and cautious right now.
You'd think so. If I were them, I'd retreat the commanders now. They have. The commanders are in the middle of their base, surrounded by all sorts of units. You can see Team Blue making a move for Gunshin's expansion now, trying to take out the outside regions instead of going for the main base all the time. Switching up tactics, very important in RTS games.
Yep, they've taken care of those units that were trying to raid them, and they're going to move in here, try and get rid of this production, stop all those ants being produced nice and close to your base.
Taking a look at expansion, Blue has the entire southern hemisphere under their control.
Pink actually has more of the map available to them, but I don't think they're going to be able to capture it quick enough now. On the right hand side we do see levelers and some ants moving through, just really beginning to devastate what's left of Colin's base.
Yes, he just got attack 2 up too little too late.
On the left hand side though, Gunshin's moving forwards with a big force of units. All of these ants are all of these engineers are going to go down very, very quickly, and on the defensive a little bit for Team Blue. However, they're kind of running into turrets here. They don't want to be in range of those turrets.
And they're being sandwiched between those two forces now. They're not going to go far. They're going to take out a few Tech 1 factories, and that's it, basically. They did take out a lot of production power, but production power is easily to obtain at this stage in the game.
Yeah, Team Blue now moving in with superior forces. We're probably going to see them start to steamroll over Gunshin's base here. Just a really big force of units been produced now for Team Blue. On the right hand side, it looks like not too many units have been sent towards them. They're just trying to win on the left hand side.
Yeah, right hand side is...
Get rid of Gunshin once and for all.
Right hand side is a bit of a mop-up operation. Probably send in units from time to time. The left hand side is where you want to be.
Yeah, I think really there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to concentrate all your forces in one area and just get rid of them once and for all, and then concentrate on the other target rather than spread your forces out.
Yeah, this is what most players usually forget. You don't have to control the entire planet, you just have to kill these two commanders. That's your objective. You kill them, you win.
That's the other advantage. Right now, they just want to be killing Gunshins. There's no need to necessarily kill off Colin's base if they can destroy Gunshins and take out his commander as well.
Talking about Gunshin, he's being attacked now. His commander is meeting this massive army and is probably going to go down.
Yep, trying to move away. He's still in range of a couple of units, but he's moving away and getting a little bit of fire from ants. It looks like he's going to make it. A couple of engineers there helping to assist him as well.
You can just see this tank army plowing through this base. It's nothing can withstand this power.
Other units from the north as well trying to hit off the commander, but he's moving in towards the units now. He might be intentionally conceding the game here. Might have been a bit dodgy pathfinding, but it was GG anyway. GG's get called, and we might see him suicide his commander here.
Nice intense match. You can see that even spreading out and having some players surrounded doesn't always work.
Indeed.
And there it goes. What do you think if Team Pink closed off the south a bit more and prevented a lot of that expansion? What would have happened?
Yeah, I think a little bit of raiding, a little bit more map control for Team Pink would have helped. But that was a good game to start us off, and let's move on to game 2.
Will do.
Welcome back to game 2, guys, and we're on a moon planet this time. Still here with Killer.
Hello.
Klops has not suicided his commander yet, so we may well get a good game out of this.
Let's hope so.
So let's have a little look at Team Blue spawns. We've got one player here next to a nice little small clump and a nice little clump to expand to the south, and then the guy on the left has just got a massive clump that he started right next to. So great start for Team Blue.
Team Pink, on the other hand, the player to the right doesn't really have that much matter to him. He has some sporadic matter to expand to, and the player on the left is fairly close to this huge metal field.
Yep, so Team Pink have got enough metal extractors to start next to that they're not going to stall immediately. The guy on the right has a few nice areas to the north and to the right hand side where he can expand to, and the guy on the left has a very nice area right in front of him that he can expand to. So a little bit of a disadvantage for Pink, but it won't be anything that will affect the game, I don't think.
No, there's usually enough metal to do this stuff. Probably the guy on the right is going to focus a bit more on power or factories or something, and the player on the left a bit more on economy and metal.
So if we look at the rear side of the planet, kind of towards the North Pole but on the opposite side of Pink, there's a large amount of mass here that's pretty much critical for Team Pink to capture, because they do have a little bit less than Team Blue, and that's going to be one of those areas they've got to move to get some map control.
Yes, I'd reckon they have to take that one as well. Team Blue has just way more metal close to their spawn points.
First couple of fabricators coming out. All players now got a bot factory next to their commander, which is it's the optimum strategy really. Each player does need a bot factory to get out engineers and expand nice and quick. And what do you think then? What do you think of this game? Who's going to win?
It's I'd hope that Colin and Gunshin win, because that way we can have a nice 3-battle epic final of this tournament.
I know, I've got to admit, for the sanctity of the tournament, it'd be epic if we got a 3-game best of 3 here.
Looking at metal income growth, it's just standard. All players or both teams have exactly the same amount right now.
Yeah, that's mostly what we expect at this stage. We're going to start to see engineers move out. Whoever puts a little bit more build power on engineers is going to start pulling ahead in terms of mass.
Yep. Not many fighting units yet. Players have probably played on this planet before and know that there's a lot of eco and not that many fighting early game.
Yeah, we actually see both Team Pink players have both gone for an energy storage. Looking over at Team Blue, one of the players on the right hand side has.
Yes. Does this differ this much? The player on the left of Blue team is building one as well. So
the Alpha Commanders are both on the left hand side, and Alpha Commanders are Gunshin and Neptunio. So
I'm not sure, mate.
So on the left hand side we've got Gunshin, on the right hand side we've got Colin, and for Team Blue we've got Klops on the right and Neptunio on the left.
Yes.
First vehicle factory going out for Colin here. Sorry, for Gunshin on the left.
Colin is working on his air factory, just finished it. We're going to go anti-air unit, anti-air fighters first again. So no bombers early on.
Yeah, I think against someone like Klops, they're kind of aware that Klops really likes his early air bombers, so it's not a bad move to strategize according to your opponent and intentionally go for fighters.
Yes. Looking at eco, still fairly okay. These players are rushing up with 4 minutes in the game, and both teams have like 150 metal income. So this is efficient building, people.
First fighter from Colin was going straight towards Klops there.
He's probably just scouting out the nearby metal expansions to know that there's no one just right next to them.
Yeah, that's a good move. They want to secure their perimeter, make sure that they know where they are in relation to the enemy, and then start expanding to actually scout the enemy.
Yeah, they're going to. He probably selected circles around his base, making the first fighter fly circles around him, having the second fly to more metal expansions further away. You know, the points you'd expect people to be.
Yep, similar thing from Team Blue with scouts just checking around their base for the moment. And I guess this is something you don't see in lower ranked games where the players don't scout, and it's absolutely a #1 priority to scout and find your opponent as soon as possible.
And to expand on that, actually never stop scouting. In the match before this, we actually saw expansions right next to hidden bases, and the hidden base didn't notice the expansion of the other player. That's just poor.
Yeah. Universally, I think people never quite scout as much in RTS as they should do.
Yes.
We see a nice little dodge from the scout there. Scouts can dodge fire from fighters. And one fighter now going over Klops' base, and he sees the commander. He knows what's going on here, and he's going to keep heading through. So we've got some very useful information there, and he's going to keep continuing. So the first intel war goes to Team Pink. Oh, we actually see a scout for Team Blue as well, scouting over Colin.
Just want to say that he's scouted both players, so both teams know where the other team is right now.
So simultaneous scouting there, good play.
Yep.
And, everything is going to start moving a whole lot quicker from this point onwards. We see production ramping up for Neptunio on the left-hand side, getting some ant factories up now.
Like in the last game, Klops' team is going ahead in eco, running at 300 metal income against the 250 of the other team.
So getting a nice early lead. We see Colin start concentrating on some bot factories next to his mass extractors.
And I found the reason of the stall, of the economy difference. Colin's team has had a lot of power stalling.
And that's unfortunate because that happened in the last game as well. You thought they might be a little bit more careful with it now. But we do see Colin concentrating on power. Got quite a few engineers assisting his commander as well.
What do you think the reason for this is? Not really that got much experience together as a team, or?
I think on one hand they're trying to be nice and efficient and not build too much power, and I think perhaps they just haven't had quite enough practice as a pair. You need quite a lot of practice to know how to really efficiently balance your eco.
The right player of blue teams was Klops, right? He's just started working on his Tech 2 factory, going for early Tech 2.
Very nice. So we've got 4 engineers on that as well. It's not going to be too slow to build, so that's nice and early. Good play.
Neptunio, on the other hand, going for Tech 1 spam and starting to move some early units towards pink team.
Yeah, that's a good play as well. It's kind of nice to have one player spamming T1, dictating the match, and then having the other player get 2 T2 a little bit later on.
Pink's team is building his factories quite in the back, and just the right pink player just started working on Tech 2 as well, with just 2 engineers though.
Yeah, Colin just got a single engineer, maybe a second one about to join him here.
No, it's running
like
around
it. Single engineer, so he needs to put a little bit more build power on that when he has the opportunity. But I think he just wants to get it started before he puts a lot of build power on it.
Metal income is coming close again. Both teams at about 400.
And the game is really going to start kicking off. There's going to be a lot of action. I'm currently looking at the left-hand side as Neptunio moves his tanks in up towards Gunshin. Gunshin has quite a few bot factories out already, and he's moving bots down around the left-hand side as well.
Klops' team is power stalling now. It seems like the teams have switched looking at power stalls.
We see Colin moving on the right-hand side with a couple of scampers.
Trying to get some harassing done. We're probably going to run in this wall of PD. Or going around it. Let's see if he scouts it out early enough.
Neptunio getting some wins against these bots. His ants should be able to outdo them fairly easily. But Gunshin has sneaked 3 little scampers around the side. They might cause a little bit of harassment.
The thing is, scampers are just not really that good at taking out maxes.
Yeah, they're a little bit slow. Their DPS is really quite low. You need quite a few. And Neptunio being quite aggressive against Gunshin here. Gunshin getting up some tank factories, but they're very much at risk from these tanks moving forwards from Neptunio.
Yes, the aggression is starting. Both teams are at equal income, so it's all about what they're going to expand their income on. Are they going to expand their economy or work on more production?
Scampers at the back of Team Blue's base get taken care of nice and easily by a turret there. That worked out very well for them. We see one factory goes down from these ants that Neptunio's moved forwards, and he's going to attack these bots and then try on a move to do some more damage. We do, however, see a turret going up, so we're going to see some decent defenses come up from Gunshin. He might be okay here.
Klops working on Tech 2 economy now, well defended by air and ants.
Bit of scouting coming in now from Colin, trying to attack those bombers, and fighters come to intercept them. They exchange fire there. And it looks like Klops gets the best of it then, saves his bombers as well.
So like last match, Team Blue is taking the initiative with attacking again, and Team Pink being more careful, although they are expanding more this time. They've probably talked about the last match and are expanding more.
Yep, Neptunio's beginning to run into turrets now, and he decides to turn around, which is a wise decision. You don't want to run them to their death, so he needs to get a few more units before he can really take on those turrets. Having a little look at expansion, we see good expansion, many groups of engineers for Team Pink moving out to the back of their base, controlling this very, very important area of mass. Having a look over at Team Blue, and we don't see quite so much expansion from Team Blue. They need to work a little bit harder, but we do see T2 mechs going up from Klops here, and engineers coming to assist that T2 engineer. So they don't need to expand too much because they've got their T2 eco.
Yes, because looking at eco is still at the same time, even though Team Pink has way more map control, Team Blue has their more compact base and defending it well and being more aggressive. So that they actually are trying to mimic the strategy they had last match, which is a smaller base, having some expansion and then being very aggressive on the two fronts.
Neptunio moving in here, does manage to attack the bots and take down one of the factories, but takes a huge amount of fire from those two turrets. He's now beginning to concentrate down on them and can move forwards with those tanks, but he did take quite heavy losses there. And on the right hand side, in between the bases, we do see some ants moving forwards from Team Pink, and they might be able to come in and actually cause some damage there.
Klops' team is jumping ahead now in the metal income, probably because of the T2.
Which Team Blue?
Yeah, the Klops' team, Team Blue, yeah.
Okie doke.
This is actually exactly what you expect if you have the T2 maxes going up.
Yep, turret with a wall goes up in Gunshin's base, still trying to maintain a defense against these tanks from Neptunio. Neptunio being nice and aggressive, not giving any breathing room to Gunshin at all. But Team Pink being nice and aggressive, sending in these raiding forces, getting a few wins, taking out mass extractors in the middle.
Yes, they've noticed that both Team Blue is attacking at two fronts and going straight through the middle and try to find the area which neither player is watching because they think the other player is watching it.
Levelers now for Klops, and he's currently got 2 factories and 2 more being built, and Levelers on the front lines now, putting in some work, doing some damage against these ants here.
He's very heavily focusing on attack 2.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy to use, and I think it'll pay off for them.
Neptunio, on the other hand, still focusing very heavily on Tech 1.
Units sneaking through the middle for Team Pink. They destroy that turret and keep moving forwards, but the commander is there to deal with them, and he should not have too much of a problem.
Yeah, he'll deal with those fairly easily.
Looking over at the left-hand side, Neptunio is still trying to push. He's actually creeping with pelters, which is a very nice move. He's got so many tanks he can keep affording to move forwards and keep building those pelters, so the pelters will be protected by the units.
Right-hand side, both players are cautious, and Klops is just gathering his Tech 2 army. We'll see a big push there in about 2 minutes, I'd say.
The commander there from Neptunio is down below half-life, but he's successfully defended and doesn't have too much to worry about now.
He has more units moving into cover. He should be okay, unless there's going to be some epic bomber snipe. It's just not going to happen.
10 engineers for Colin working on his second T2 factory, and looking over at Gunshin, he's actually working on his third with 6 engineers there, so both of them concentrating on T2. They recognised what Klops has done and definitely need to catch up. Having a look at Neptunio though, he has a huge amount of T1 land factories, and he's just going to keep spamming his tanks and putting a huge amount of pressure on Gunshin here.
He's really aggressive, but wouldn't you reckon that it would be a nice idea to move that big bulk of units around the back, trying to take out all these expansion fields?
I agree. When he's got this many units, it's very easy to send small groups around the side, but against good players like this, you can be sure they will have built turrets, and turrets are incredibly effective against anything other than a large group of ants.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's turrets all over the place in the expansion. Nothing. They have to wait till they have levelers spare before they can do that.
Yeah, you can see they're actually building turrets before they even go for the mech.
Oh,
so
left side. Blue's breaking through, taking out factories, going for the Tech 2.
He's currently under fire from a turret that none of his tanks are attacking. Looks like they're all concentrating on units. But yeah, beginning to break through in towards the T2 production. This is not good for Team Pink at all. Neptunio really pushing hard, sending in units on the right hand side as well now.
Klops still skirting around with his Tech 2. He's trying to get a critical mass of levelers, I'd say.
Yeah, you can see he's got much less units and being attacked a little bit on the right hand side as well, but he's got 4 levelers up there on the front lines, and 4 levelers is much more powerful than they look. They're very good at getting rid of turrets and doing a lot of damage and defending against ants as well. A couple of levelers there from Colin though should be able to see them off, and I don't think Klops will get too much further there.
Yeah, but Klops has about 10 or 15 levelers in his base, so he's really waiting and having Neptunio be more aggressive. And
Neptunio making great work. He's begun to get through the front lines here. We see Gunshin moving his commander at the top of the screen there to try and engage them. But Neptunio attacking on two sides and making headway in both areas and slowly grinding down the attrition on Gunshin.
as soon as he takes out all these Tech 1 factories, he can easily reach the power field and take out the team's power.
We do see a T2 factory going down, so all of Gunshin's T2 production now is gone, and that is a really big disadvantage. He's also losing his T1 production, so he's going to find it even harder to defend against Neptunio.
Another attack through the middle, this time a little bit more, but already ends moving into defend. They're still going to lose a couple factories, but I don't think Klopp's is going to getting too bothered because he's actually moving his force away the other way, having about 15 levelers and a bunch of ants, moving in his air force to scout out now.
Yep, sending in bombers it looks like. He's scouted already with those interceptors, going to come in with the bombers, see what he targets.
Using the bombers, I'd say use the bombers to attack the levelers.
Ants moving through in the middle for Team Pink, and they're going to come up against some turrets, but should be able to destroy them. And definitely need to send some blue units over there to defend, because that will cause a little bit of damage.
Bombers won't be a good idea.
On the left-hand side, Neptunio is still making great progress, destroying factories all over the place. And Gunshin may have lost his base here, and Team Blue may just keep wreaking havoc, making things very, very difficult for them.
But he's moving away from Gunshin's comm, though, going more for the economy. He might have not seen the commander.
Honestly, I think it's better to do damage to the overall base rather than just get a commander kill at this stage.
Because it's 2v2.
You want to solidify your win, really. If you destroy their base, then they can't win. If you destroy the commander, then they might still be able to make it back.
Looking at metal income, Colin's team is actually ahead. Gross metal income.
Stuff is really beginning to happen now. Team Pink are beginning to break through right into the main base of Klops. Now, going to cause some damage here if they don't get checked really, really quickly. Klops doesn't really care. He got so many levelers. He just wants to move forwards with them and do some huge damage against Colin. So that's his plan. Just make some progress. Got engineers there following behind to build some radar as well.
Yep. You can see Neptunio moving some of his forces towards the right to take out that part of the base a bit more.
Yep, got a couple of levelers moving south from Klops, and they should be able to take care of those T1 units without too much problem. So it looks like that attack is going to be nullified there.
Oh, looking at build efficiency, Klops' team is stalling energy hard. They're like building at 50% efficiency.
Okay, that's not good at all, but I think they don't have too much to worry about. As long as they keep producing units and keep putting pressure on, things are going to be very, very difficult for Team Pink. Klops has lost a lot of that attack that he sent in, and there's more than enough to defend now for Colin. So Colin is still doing absolutely fine, still sending forces down the middle, trying to put pressure on them as well. Let's have a little look at Neptunio. He's lost a lot of his units, but he's still heading through here, and he's destroyed a huge amount of Gunshin's base.
He did. But there's just so much more base towards the back.
Trying to get up some turrets to stop this little incursion by Neptunio, and I think Neptunio is probably going to be alright here.
Pink's attack has been fully stopped in Blue's base, and Blue's going on the offensive again.
Yep, they can now afford to be pretty aggressive. Colin can still defend, but Gunshin losing so much ground here. The thing is, if they start building at the back of their base, having one player build a whole load of T2 production, we actually see a lot of levelers for Colin up at the North Pole, working on his 246th factory now.
He is really working on a lot of Tech 2, and we can see this Tech 2, and this is where it becomes harder to play. Your build orders will crumble because both teams are getting very inefficient and then efficient again. It's really the energy getting destroyed and then building more stuff.
So things are getting interesting. If we actually look at the T2 production, we see just 4 T2 factories from Klops, and we see Neptunio's actually gone for a lot. He's got 5 at the front of his base now, building them nice and close to the enemy.
Yeah, so he switched from the Tech 1 to the Tech 2, which is probably combined with the attack of Pink is why the economy tanked. It's this area with the Tech 2 factories, combined with losing the power in the middle of their base.
Most of the map is now
how didn't we spot this? This is a
yes.
nuke!
There is a nuke, yes.
Did you see that one?
Yep, it's just started building. And he's got a load of engineers assisting it, so he's really not mucking about. He wants to make sure he gets this out. And Team Blue are in the oh, whoa! A nuke
took out the power. Yeah, the nuke landed and it took out the power.
That's terrible. I'm gonna have to zoom back and watch that.
I told you. Did you see the nuke? Yeah, you talked about the building.
I saw a nuke being built earlier, but I didn't realise one had already launched.
Looking at build efficiency, you'd expect Colin's team to. It didn't affect them that much. They lost a lot of power. They actually, yeah, I see the line dropping down on the tanking on power now. If the nuke was took out a lot of their power.
It didn't take out a huge amount. I mean, it took only about 15, 20 T1, which is not that much.
Yeah, but on a match of this level, that would take them below their efficiency.
Perhaps, but ultimately, for the cost of a nuke, that's really not effective. I think they could have chosen a much better target.
Yeah. So it was actually the building of the nuke that tanked their economy.
So looking at where the game is now, we still see Blue trying to break through in lots and lots of areas. Gunshin's side still not easy to defend. Colin, however, still has a lot of units. He's really not in too much problem. It's Gunshin's getting the problem here. A lot of levelers for Neptunio on the left-hand side, very near to Gunshin's commander. Couple of ants in the middle as well, pushing forwards towards these factories, trying to get a couple of wins. Ooh. It looks like
this commander's going to go down. Yeah, commander running straight for the levelers, and he's going to die.
Commander's dead. Absolutely no way you can survive against that many levelers. Gunshin's commander goes down, takes a little bit with him.
Team Pink also working on nuke defenses now at their Tech 2 energy field, which is a very smart move.
Yeah, definitely. That's the area you want to protect, really.
Problem is, did Team Blue actually scout out the Tech 2 area?
We have another nuke nearly ready. It's about 75% or 80% of the way through now.
Which they can afford because they are at 1k metal income, whilst Colin's team is at 800,000. 800, I mean.
And Team Blue still trying to push through, but it looks like there aren't many areas they can make it. There's a lot of good defense going on from Team Pink at the moment, but I think this nuke is what's really going to seal it. This nuke is going to cause a lot of damage wherever it lands.
Colin moving in with his army now. Let's see if he tries to go in for the kill.
We do actually see Colin's commander is only on half-life at the moment, so if the nuke goes at him, then it's GG.
Yeah, but they have to know where the nuke is, and we can see that both teams aren't really scouting that much anymore.
Neptunio moving forwards on the left-hand side.
Colin's playing cautious on the right-hand side.
I've got a couple of glitched units on my screen from using the chronocam.
Yeah, chronocam still work in progress.
So this game is well and truly still alive, and we see very little fighting still on the backside of the planet, but Team Pink, if anything, has managed to get more map control.
Yeah, but they're still behind in economy by about 100.
Here comes the other nuke. The other nuke has been launched. Let's see where it goes. Going for units is a very good target, but we'll see where it goes.
And it flies over the... it's... Oh, that's gotta hurt.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? That was a perfect strike. It took out every single unit there. And that is what has really been holding up Team Pink, that Colin has so many units that Klops just absolutely cannot break through.
And Klops is now moving in with his tactical leveler strike force.
Neptunio is still putting a small amount of pressure on Gunshin, but not able to break through. But it's really Klops' side that he's going to be able to push through now, because so many units have been lost for Team Pink there.
And this is exactly what they're doing. They're moving a lot of their units towards Colin's side. Colin's base just looked battered with got hit by 2 nukes. It's a slaughterhouse.
And Team Blue just going to keep concentrating on more nukes and keep pushing them out and getting more of an advantage.
Have you seen a lot of nukes in these 2v2 battles? Or is this really a surprise?
I'm not too surprised. I think when one player pulls ahead a little bit and they can afford to put out a nuke, then it's just a fantastic strategy.
Why is Colin scouting the blue base with all their fighters?
I think he realises at this stage it's a snipe or lose situation. So I think he's got to find out what's going on. That's why he sent so many fires. It's just absolutely imperative to find these commanders. He's found one of them here. Very isolated. Let's take a little look at Team Pink. Do we see any advanced air or anything?
I haven't found it. I was looking for it. I haven't found it. Talking about isolated, the commander of Colin's commander is still behind us. A nice solid wall of levelers.
And great defense from Team Pink. Team Blue really have not managed to break through. We see a lot of T2 production for Team Pink, so they're not too worried about the ground game at the moment.
Oddly enough, looking at the efficiency, both teams are crashing energy from time to time, but looking at gross metal income, they're equal. Both are hanging around 1,000 metal income.
Yeah, very interesting. We see so much T2 and so much map control for Team Pink, even though they keep losing the front lines. They've just got a lot of good eco. Tanks moving forwards in the centre, and will do some damage, but on the left hand side we see levelers backed up by a huge amount of engineers who are just building pelters and trying to attack this T2 production for Gunshin.
This must be why their economy is crashing all the time. Like, there's 25 engineers building pelters.
Yep. One of those pelters goes down, but the levelers move in here to protect.
The central armory is getting some resistance, but still mostly unopposed, trying to probably push through and hit the back and hit some energy fields.
Levelers moving into the side of these ants, and they may get some good wins. If they don't get noticed, then this whole attack may be nullified. Unfortunately, it looks like they're on a move order, so they're going to come into range of the ants here, get taken out.
Is that even allowed to do? Are we allowed to do that? Move orders? Attack orders, I mean.
It's very hard to detect. But I think most of the players try and just make sure they have radar up anyway.
Good point.
It looks like on the left hand side, Neptunio's finally going to break forwards. He's got just about enough units to come in here, and he's just going to keep creeping forwards with those engineers.
Taking out this Tech 2 factory should be fairly easy for him now, and afterwards he can move towards the Tech 2 energy, which would really put a dent into Pink's economy. On the other side, Klops is having less success. Oh, he's now moving.
We do have one nuke ready for Team Blue.
But where would you shoot it? If you were blue, where would you shoot the nuke?
It's a tough choice. I think they need to do some more scouting to really know what they're doing.
Yes.
I would probably do it wherever I've got quite a lot of units. I'd do it right in front of them and then send the units immediately in afterwards. Try and break through even further and just make things difficult for them.
Yeah. The pink space has been adapted to nukes now by spreading out their buildings more, which makes it actually harder for us to realize what's happening where.
Yeah, Pink has been losing a lot of ground, but they've been doing the right strategies and just building a whole load of stuff at the back of their base. We see a lot of T2 production still, a lot of T2 mechs, and we actually see around the very back a whole load of levelers here getting picked off because they don't have radar range.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Blue to lose those levelers.
That could have caused some nice damage, but a little attack there gets lost.
Pink now...
Pink, yeah, moving forwards with those levelers.
Yes, I just spotted it, and using the radar to have the range.
Yep. But a big move through the middle for a whole load of ants for Team Blue, and they're going to steamroll straight through here. In fact, in towards the commander. They're going to destroy all of these factories very quickly. If the commander doesn't make moves, he is moving now. Looks like he's a bit worried.
Yep, commander moving, probably going to retreat through in between those craters. Those 3 levelers aren't going to be enough to stop this, though. And there's not much else in the vicinity.
We do see some catapults built by Team Pink, and I think if they'd have built them earlier, that would have worked out really well for them.
Where do you see these catapults?
On the very left-hand side of Team Pink's base. Yeah, I think if they'd spanned them up a bit earlier, they could have held off quite a lot nicer.
It's basically becoming a war of attrition. Every army you send in towards the enemy will get sandwiched and flanked and attacked from all sides.
Yeah, I mean, both teams playing really well. I mean, there's so much war going on here. They're really, really fighting for it. And Team Pink still actually getting very dangerous with just a few units. The levelers here just beginning to make more and more progress. And there's actually nothing to defend on Klops' side right now. There's literally no units. They may be forced to use a defensive nuke on the just 8 levelers there.
Oh, wait. I see Tech 2 bombers flying around in Klops' space now. So he switched up, but he negated his defense a bit too much.
Yeah. Doing some scouting from Team Blue. He wants to finish the game here. And we'll see if he finds the commander. He's very, very close. It looks like he just missed him there.
He does. Nuke flying away. Going. Let's see where it goes. Going towards the center of Pink space.
Yeah, perhaps going for T2 production.
That might be a good idea, yeah. But still, Pink does have a lot of Tech 2 production scattered around.
It's going at the commander.
Will it be enough, though?
It won't be enough to kill her. Yeah, that was definitely targeted at the commander there.
Ooh.
So commander down to 1500, sorry, 12,500.
And the Tech 2 bomber moving in, Tech 2 bomber to finish him off.
Oh, it's dodging all the shots from
And
the
it's got
tanks.
shut down!
Oh dear. Trying
Would
to
have
finish
been
the game.
Would have been brilliant though.
In fact, I think you only need a single T2 bomber. It takes you down to 1500 life, and the bombers do 2000.
Do they still do 2000, but because they used to do a lot of damage on the first hit?
No, they do 2000.
Fair enough.
That was a bug where they did the damage and they also did area of effect damage stacked on top as well.
Yes.
Team Pink making more progress against Klops here.
And moving towards the commander actually.
Both commanders looking very vulnerable. Absolutely no support. I really think they need to send some units over there because they're losing it on the right hand side. This game is really crazy.
It
on
is.
The left hand side, however, we see a whole load of levelers for Neptunio moving forwards, doing a huge amount of destruction and absolutely nothing to stop them really.
Are they going to lose their nuclear missile launcher on the right hand side? Because the level is getting awfully close and they just realized it.
Trying to get up some T2 point defense here.
And also losing their tech to production. The level is getting... the level is going to get killed by the Tech 2, Tech 1 turret.
Both commanders wisely walking away from each other and just desperately going to keep walking and stay away from that very small group of very nasty looking tanks. And complete turnaround, seeing the right hand side of Blue's base just completely destroyed here.
Yeah, it's because Klops started to focus on building nukes and air instead of tanks. And the tanks that he did build, he sent out to just be parked somewhere and get killed.
And slightly unusually, they've avoided going for this massive T2 power field, and I think they're just heading for the commander. They know he's roughly around here near the North Pole, and I think they just want to head towards that commander and finish him off once and for all. Commander's still moving, he's still on 1500, so he does actually need to get repaired, because another nuke snipe will kill him.
Where is their commander? The base is just so huge that it's hard to determine where he is.
Wow, this little force of tanks at the south for Team Pink still looking very, very, very nasty, very near the commanders. And on the right hand side of Team Blue, still desperately trying to make their way in towards that nuke launcher and get rid of it once and for all. I think some bombers would actually be good for a strike against that factory. And Team Blue's attack up towards the North Pole is completely evaporated. Lots of levelers here to defend, and it's almost as if after being on the defensive for so long, Team Pink are actually beginning to get their way back into it somehow.
They're approaching the never start a land war in Russia approach by having this huge amount of area and just having levelers all over the place.
Oh, the nuke's going to go down. The nuke is going to go down. The nuke has been finished, and that is a big advantage lost for Team Blue. Things are really turning around. And look at those units at the South Pole coming so desperately close to those commanders. We finally see units scrambled from Team Blue to stop this attack.
Yes. Losing the nuke, they lost about 15,000 metal with that, wasn't it? It was like halfway there.
Wow, very interesting. Team Pink really beginning to pull it back. Levelers making progress for Team Blue on the left-hand side.
Looking at metal income, Colin's team is way ahead with 800 income against the 400 income of Klops' team.
Wow, that's a massive disparity. And I think what we see is a whole load of T1 on Neptunio's side and a whole load of production, but no real T2 eco or anything like that.
Nope, it's just... They were too aggressive and didn't focus enough on their economy or like defending their economy.
Yeah, they just couldn't quite break through. And Team Pink might be able to defend this attack of all these levelers on the left-hand side. They are outnumbered, and it looks like they're being closed in upon here.
Yeah, and everything that used to be Klops' starting position has already been destroyed or will be destroyed in the coming minutes.
Yep.
That position has been lost.
He built all the T2 for Team Blue.
Well, yeah, most of it, yeah, because Neptunio had about 5 at first, but he has about 10 factories now, but not the economy to support it. They're running on 300 metal income, Klops' team.
I think if they could take out that T2 power field, that would really, really hurt Team Pink, and a bit of scouting would have told them that.
Looking at efficiency, Klops' team is stalling hugely. They're running at 30% efficiency against 70 or 60% efficiency of Team Pink.
This is a really incredible turnaround for Team Pink.
And for the people listening, efficiency means that if your power is stalling, your everything is stalling, and that's what we mean by about efficiency. If I say 50% efficiency, it means that they're running their entire economy and entire production on 50% of total possible.
Units from Team Pink moving straight through the middle in towards Neptunio's base, in towards this T2 production. There's so many levelers here, they can't be stopped. And I think this is just an amazing play from Team Pink, managing to really hold off against the odds and finally beginning to be aggressive back against Team Blue themselves.
What a comeback, really.
Just fantastic play, never giving up.
Actually, you can see Team Blue on the defensive now, not making any strategic moves against Team Pink at all anymore, and just defending and holding and trying to get their economy back up to speed.
All of their attacks have fizzled out. Having a look at the Pink commander, he's back up to full life. He's getting up some anti-air around his commander as well, which is obviously wise. And this is the time when Team Blue kind of needs to realise all of a sudden they're losing and they need to snipe.
Yes, they're losing quite badly. All this tech... You have these huge fields of Tech 1 engineers that can't be used because they don't have the economy to support it. And these levels just rampaging through this base now.
I think it's the sort of situation where you need to get every single unit you have into one single blob and just try and aim for the commander and ideally get out a couple of T2 bombers as well.
But that's what they have been trying for the last 10 minutes.
I think though all of these T2 bombers keep getting killed by tanks that are near them. If they'd have managed to save 2 or 3, send them in against the commander, you never know how it might have ended.
That's a huge what if, mate. Just all their attacks in blobs got taken away, pelt away by like levelers spread out towards through a base with decent radar coverage.
If we have a look at Team Pink, they really do not have much of their base. They still don't have too much. They've just built a whole load of T2 eco at the back of their base.
And their base is really spread out, which really helps with the levelers all over the place.
Yep. Lots of levelers now from Team Pink, beginning to clear up all of these ants on the field. Oh, at the back of Blue's base, we see a large group of levelers. It's going to be very difficult to stop them because all we see really now is ants left for Team Blue.
Yep. They might have some communication problems now as well, because it's hard to say who has to focus where now. After this game is already going for 35 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, once it gets to this stage, and it's such a dynamic match as well. It's just incredibly difficult to make the right decisions when you're this far into the game. I'm feeling very tired.
A small group of ants, very close to Blue's commander, actually.
I think we still have 2 commanders for Team Blue, don't we? Yep.
Yes, we do, actually. My bad. Still Pink just going for the economy, like they should.
Yep, I think Pink just needs to do the same thing as Team Blue. Pick away, put a lot of pressure on, don't give them any breathing room.
Keep sending in about 25 more levelers going in through the main entrance to the base.
Yeah, that's a big group there, actually.
So that's what they're doing. They're probably one player is focusing on like expanding their base a bit and focusing on defense, and the other player is just doing these attacks. At least that's how I would organize it.
Yeah, in this sort of difficult situation, I would definitely have one player doing all of the attacks and the defending, and then the other player concentrating on somehow managing to save their eco and get some semblance of a base back up.
Well, saving their eco, their eco is higher than ever. They're running at 1100 metal income, Carl Collins' team.
Yeah, I see quite a few T2 mechs all over the place, and they've really just managed to win it back. Whereas Team Blue, they've been attacking for so long, and they've negated a little bit of their eco.
Their Team Blue is running around at 200, about between 200 and 300 metal income, like 4 times less.
We do see some T2 bot factories going up, and I guess that could be used for a snipe attempt if you really sneakily get them through somewhere, totally avoiding the levelers and killing the commander.
Yeah, but that would be quite a lucky shot. Their commanders, Team Blue's commanders, are just standing around randomly, actually. Not much is being done with them at all.
Where is Team Pink's commander? I can't see him.
Team
Here he
Pink's
is. He's up there with a shitload of anti-air turrets.
Yep, where you'd expect him to be, even engineers close by to be able to repair him. And since they have so much, they have more radars actually than point defense, so nothing would sneak past them. They just have fields of radars hanging around.
Yeah, Team Pink have really managed to cope well with adversity in this game. I mean, it feels like for 25, 30 minutes we're just commentating on how close Team Blue was coming to destroying Team Pink.
And then Team Pink just scrambling and getting back at them with just radars and like superior range. Team Pink being very forward with their expansion now. On the right hand side, a Tech 2 bot army is moving towards expansions now. Probably trying to sneak around, go to the com, like you said.
Oh yeah, just trying to sneak around here. Unfortunately, they're going to come up against T2 turrets and against catapults as well. They're
Yeah,
going
the
to pick them off before they can do anything.
fairly nicely played catapult, fitting into their.
We actually see a nuke from Team Pink as well.
Really?
And it's been built, and I think it's ready to launch right now.
Where would you launch it? Like at this, I'd go go for the center of the T2 production or something.
Yep, definitely. I mean, the only real threat right now is the T2 production. If they still have ants, that means nothing. You just want to get rid of that T2 production.
Well, actually, you have
the
this.
power would be a good choice as well.
Yeah, the power would be
only
better.
Power.
This, yeah, nicely placed in the blast radius of one single nuke.
We see two T2 bombers hovering around the commander.
Yeah, they might go for an offensive commander, which obviously works really well against Tech 2 levelers.
Okay, we see everything moving from Team Blue. They're going for the all-in. They know they've lost it. I think they're going to be moving all their units in towards that commander. The commander's going to be moving as well. A couple of T2 bots are heading in there as well.
They're running into 20 levelers.
Yep.
It's not going to be so successful.
Nope.
Should have done this 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, the nuke took out the power.
I think 3 or 4 minutes ago they should have gone, oh god, our eco's dead. The game's over. We need to go for the rush now.
Talking about that eco, their eco is officially dead right now. They hit the Tech 2 factories in the power. Blast radius was larger than I expected.
Okay, with the nuke, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so they hit the power as well. So that's a massive loss.
Yeah, almost all the Tech 2 and the power is gone now.
So there's absolutely no chance of rebuilding now. It's basically whatever you've got on the field is what you've got to play with. They've got a couple of units. They're chasing up here with the commander. And those levelers have actually moved off to the right-hand side. So they're avoiding the commander. And they're just going to try and move through here. Try and tank it in. It's definitely good to go for an attempt like this. Second commander's slowly heading up behind them as well.
Yep, scrambling all their forces and trying to go for broke. They are actually broke at running at 150 metal income against the 1200 of Team Pink.
Okay, Team Pink's noticed. They're heading their units to the left now. They've noticed and they're not pleased. Scouts coming out from Team Blue as well.
Actually,
and you can
not
see
fine.
from Team Pink they're putting all of their units there now.
Yeah, because there's a commander there. Commander only needs a kill. You can also see that most of Team Blue's force is engineers. Engineers you can't really use because you don't have the economy to support them.
When you've got nothing, they're still useful. They draw a whole lot of fire from units. They can still be used to assist.
Ah, nice. He moves his commander into the middle of his army, obliterating everything.
Ouch.
That's not a good move.
Yeah, that was his last chance. We see the GG's called there.
Yeah, so they're probably going to delete second commander. It's over now.
Yeah.
What a comeback. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a brilliant game. Very well played by all players. And absolutely incredible comeback for Team Pink.
We'll see you in the third match.
Yes, we will. Welcome back, guys. This is the final game in the best of 3 of this 2v2 tournament. Everything to play for. $80 first prize, $20 to share for the second place. And we're really going to have a fight on our hands after the last 2 games.
So much excitement.
Very excited. We have very interesting spawns. I rehosted the previous one. I'm going to let this play even though it could go crazy. My analysis of this match is this black player over here, obviously in a very strong position next to a huge amount of mass. He is going to be the eco player for Team Black. Looking over towards the North Pole, this black player is actually in the middle of Team Pink. However, this Team Pink player has very little mass, so he hasn't got a lot to play with. And this other player here doesn't have as much as the Team Black guy, but he definitely still has areas to expand to, and he's going to be away from the player, so he'll have an opportunity to expand.
It is the alpha commander of Team Pink that is stuck in between the 2 black players. Which player was that again? The alpha commander?
Alpha is Klops and Gunshin, so that'll be Klops in the middle there.
And Gunshin it is. Yeah, Klops and Gunshin it is then. No.
Yep, so Klops and Gunshin are isolated right next to each other, and Colin and Neptunio are a little bit further away with better positions.
No, we're looking at it wrong. This is actually Neptunio versus Gunshin. The two players close to each other.
Oh yes, that is a Delta Commander, so it's Neptunio there in the middle.
Apologies. So how do you think this will play out with these two players being fairly close and the other players being a bit farther away?
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, here we go already. Engineers from this pink guy coming over here near to Team Black, so we're going to see early confrontations.
They're going to find each other really fast. Gunshin's build order is going to run straight through Neptunio's base. Oh, wait, Klopp's space. Ah, I'm confused now, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to confirm which one's which, just so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Gunshin is Alpha. And we'll wait for confirmation from the other team.
Yes, so we know for sure that this player, the pink player stuck at the North Pole, is Gunshin.
So what happens early on is going to be absolutely critical for how the rest of the game goes.
So far, the metal gross income is like alike. It's the standard launch of a game again.
I think it's Klops in the middle here.
Alright, so it's Klops versus Gunshin in the middle here. Both players are excellent at spamming tanks against each other. So this will be a very close-knit fight. And good for Team Pink that Colin is on the outside, because he's the player that's very good at expanding.
Yes, I think this is really good for Team Pink, because this is the position that will excel in. Colin is just great at ecoing, so if he's got a little bit of time, he'll be able to eco really hard and give a lot of support to Gunshin.
Good point.
So Klops is the one that's out of the way, and Neptunio is the one in the middle, I think.
Yep, so it's Neptunio versus Klops. And Colin and...
And I think the players may have seen each other. We see a turret immediately coming up from Klops here. Oh, sorry, from Neptunio. I'm getting so confused.
Yes, this is
Neptunio's in the middle. Even
yeah,
if he's not,
Neptunio and Gunshin.
Neptunio.
The people watching this video right now are going to be so frustrated.
Yeah, let's get it back on the go. So he's going to put up more turrets here in the middle, get a secure position, and protect against this very close commander. And we actually see a commander moving forwards for Gunshin. Yeah, he's going to move forward. So this is an aggressive move. He's also got an engineer there coming in behind him to repair him. And we're going to see him be nice and aggressive. We see factories going up as well. So he's going to try and move in, get some factories up and do some damage. Turret trying to do some damage to the mechs, but the commander's coming in straight in behind, so he's going to be able to deal with that. We also see bombers being built by Neptunio, so he wants to get some raiding on these engineers. Would be nice to take out this engineer to repair the commander, and that's what he's going to do.
He's moving in.
Gets one bomb off. And his command's coming in, also assisted by an engineer there as well.
Engineer just went down.
Comes in.
Pelter's being built.
Nice work from Colin. Nice work building pelters for Gunshin as well.
Yes, you focus on this fight for a bit. I'm going to look at the other players.
Yep, just talk about their expansion, see how the two players are doing. Commanders are beginning to fight now, and great play from Gunshin, building a factory down here which will enable him to expand. And this is a great area for him to take as well, so even if he loses his main base, he'll still have a little proxy base there to fight. Lots of engineers assisting Gunshin, and Neptunio just got uber cannoned. He's moving away, also coming on fire from the turret and the commander, and he may even go down here, trying to run in behind his turrets here. Got his engineers coming in here, trying to repair them as well. And it looks like the commander will get away for now. He's going to be repaired by these engineers, and he can stand here and tank it for a little bit. But a little bit risky there for Neptunio. And Neptunio using his commander to build this turret so he can keep firing while he's building. And also using his commander there to block any fire that might come in at those engineers, and actually pushing Gunshin off a little bit. Pelter putting some damage in on that turret, which is nice play. And Pelter nearly taking it out. Both commanders tanking a huge amount of damage at the moment.
Pink just scouted Black's other base, so they know where the other player is. And looking economy-wise, Klopp's his team is ahead, which you would expect with such a large metal field.
Nice little wins from those tanks from Gunshin. Managed to take out a couple of those engineers. Still a little bit of fighting between the commanders, and good work from Gunshin putting in some harassment with those tanks.
Neptunio sending in tanks from the back, trying to support his compadre.
So Neptunia are in quite a bit of problem here. We really need Klops to expand heavily and start getting some map control. Oh my god, we see Klops' commander right in the middle of Gunshin's base, just building turrets and totally destroying the main base from behind. Great play from Klops, moving his commander in nice and early to assist his teammate. And Gunshin is in trouble here, because he's got
Yes.
two commanders on him, and Colin is not there immediately. It looks like Colin's commander is moving forwards. He might move into the fray as well.
He is
moment-
sending a lot of units that way, though.
Yep, Neptunio is his base is coming under attack from units, so it looks like Neptunio is going to lose his base. Certainly, a lot of Gunshin's base has been lost, and it's really important here. If they can get a kill on Gunshin's commander, then that will give them a very nice advantage. Engineers there now assisting Neptunio. He's going to be doing okay, coming under a little bit of powder fire, but nothing to worry about at all. He's going to head in with his commander in towards Gunshin. Gunshin heading towards Klops. Klops is trying to get rid of these turrets. Got a single engineer assisting him, so he's not doing too bad. Gunshin also got a little bit of assistance on his commander as well. And Neptunio chasing him down.
Neptunio has more production up than Colin and is already starting to send a lot of tanks this way. They really want to win this conflict.
Yep, and I think Neptunio's base really is gone here. He's got a couple of turrets up, but it's only a matter of time before he loses it. If they get a win in on Gunshin here, then they're definitely still back in the game. Getting a commander kill here would be absolutely critical. Klops has no engineers to repair his commander, but Neptunio moving in here gets an Uber Cannon off on... Both Uber Cannons exchanged there. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose any engineers. We see engineers now being targeted down by Gunshin, and engineers also targeted down by Klops. He takes care of those engineers on Gunshin. Another Uber Cannon coming off there, and a lot of intense fighting right now. It would be nice to get rid of this turret, because that's doing a lot of damage to Klops, and Klops is actually falling a huge amount here. He needs to get rid of that turret and get a little bit of engineer on him as well. Both of them chasing down Gunshin though. Gunshin just desperately running away, and Gunshin may be done for here. He might even be able to get a complete win if he pulls it out of the bag here. Getting an Uber Tanner off. Oh! And Klops might go down. This will be a double combo. They're going to lose both commanders. And looking fairly even Stevens there.
Oh, and the Black Commander survived.
Yeah, Neptunio survives for now, but he's going to run away. He's only on about a quarter of his life and being chased down by a couple of ants. So now the game has suddenly moved into a completely different phase. We see Colin working on the remains of Neptunio's base, destroying the last few turrets and taking out the last of what he had.
Changing the scope from the tight-knit battle to the larger battle with the larger bases now. Looking at the economy, Klops' team is ahead.
Right,
Actually,
very, very interesting. We see both players... Klops and Colin haven't expanded too much. They've really been concentrating on this immediate threat of this engagement here. So the game moves into a different phase now. We see units being pumped out by Team Black, and they're going to move over here. The commander's just going to get back and get safe, and we'll see how the game proceeds.
Colin still has his commander hanging around here. Don't think it's really that much smart of a move. We don't have any levelers yet, but you'd say that if you only have one commander left that you'd retreat it. But then again, Black only has one commander as well.
I think it's okay for the moment. There's not too many ants on the field, but it's definitely something to be aware of as we move a little bit further into the game. So an exciting start in this finale of the 2v2 Open Tournament.
Looking at production, it looks like Black Team has slightly more factories, but it all depends on how you're going to use your units. They're still being sent to the central engagement area. Not really that much flanking and trying to take out expansion yet.
Yeah, but the units are only just starting being produced. I think we'll see that soon. We see units coming in, the ants coming in here, just wanting to get rid of the last of Gunshin's base, not leaving any little supportive areas here. Great move, as I mentioned from earlier, from Gunshin. He got this factory down here, he's been producing engineers, and he's expanding to this mass point, so we can really help Colin expand by taking this area, putting up a couple of defences and getting some map control for his team.
There's still about 50 metal, gross metal behind on Team Black though.
Ah, Team Black's a little bit behind, are they?
No, Team Black is ahead.
Oh, okay. So Team Black has a couple more ants at the moment, but quite a few are streaming in from Colin here. And got 3 engineers working on more factories as well.
Colin looking great with his expansion, spreading out his power a lot more this time. They remember last match with the nukes taking out power, so they spread it out way more this time.
Yeah, power is all over the place. It's going to be a lot harder to take out. Great moves from Team Black. They're moving to the right-hand side of their base with units. Unfortunately, getting stuck against this little obstacle here, but they're going to make their way around it. And this is a great attack coming in. There are no defences here. If he can get those units out and start attacking, that will really hurt Team Pink and bring the fight back to Team Black's side.
Team Black started working on the Tech 2 factory, their advanced factory I mean, but just with one engineer, not really that much dedication to it.
How's the build efficiency going at the moment? Are they stalling?
Let me quickly check. Color Collins' team is stalling a lot. Klopp's team hasn't stalled a single time this match.
Wow, fantastic. We also see Team Black going for an advanced vehicle factory. 3 engineers on that at the moment. Pretty early as we sit at minute 12 here. Considering the amount of fighting that's gone on, that's relatively early.
They just want to get the levelers fast enough.
Yeah, we actually see T2 going up from Gunshin at his little proxy base south of his starting position as well. A little bit of fighting happening in the middle. Colin actually getting his commander in on the action. Got a single engineer repairing him. Got some ants in here to support as well, but he does need to be a little bit careful here. See the ants getting a whole lot of fire on him, falling below 50% now.
Yes,
And
it still has this little stronghold and build some factories closer to it, so they really don't want to give this ground away to Team Black.
And we see a lot of production going down for Team Pink now. They're really concentrating on getting some unit spam out. And finally we see these units sneaking around on the right hand side of Team Black's base. They're going to move in here, see if they can destroy some eco and some power.
Team
and
Pink
still very undefended. Not many turrets up for Team Pink there.
Team Pink just took over the metal advantage over Team Black, so Team Pink has now officially taken over the economy game.
Yep, I think Team Black really needs to concentrate on expanding a little bit. They are doing it a little bit, got groups of engineers now, grabbing some more map control, getting up some turrets as they go. Tanks are beginning to take out a couple of mechs to the left of Pink's base, and we may see some units pushed all the way back to defend against that threat. In fact, we see very few units at the front lines for Team Black. They're concentrating a lot on other routes now, which is a good idea. And we actually see one T2 factory is already up, getting up T2 engineers immediately so they can start getting that T2 tech, and even going for an advanced bot factory on the front lines now. You also see second T2 going up for Gunshin as well. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 engineers on that, so he's really working pretty hard on that.
What do you think he's going to build? He's quickly building some Tech 2 engineers, trying to probably get some Tech 2 power up, and afterwards it's going to be straight levelers.
Yeah, we definitely want to be getting up some T2 power and T2 mechs, so I think that's what we'll see both teams doing. Oh wow!
What?
T2 advanced air going up immediately from Team Black. Great play, and this could really be critical because we don't see too much air sniping going on in this game. With one commander left apiece, a snipe is very much a possibility. Having a look at Team Black, they've now made it in towards these power gens. Currently undefended, couple of ants coming in at them. This turret is not going to get finished in time. And the engineer gets taken out there. So these units are going to destroy quite a bit of power. A couple of turrets here to try and stop them. Putting up turrets all over the place for Team Pink. But definitely lost some of their power there. Nice little win from Team Black, bringing the fight back to Pink.
Talking about power, yes, Team Pink is actually running at 50% efficiency.
Oh, so they're actually power stalling right now, and that is
quite
not
hard,
good at all.
yes.
They're really going to need to get their power up. Team Pink going on the aggressive, moving in quite a few ants in towards the front of Black's base, and if they don't notice pretty soon, then that could cause a big problem for them as well.
It will.
Lots of T2 going up for Team Black though. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 engineers there working on more T2 levelers. That is a lot of production on that.
Yeah, they're focusing way harder on the Tech 2 land than on the Tech 2 air though.
7 engineers assisting that T2 air already halfway through. This is really quite an exciting game already.
You think they'll be able to pull it off, a Tech 2 air snipe?
I definitely think they will. I think it's the sort of thing you don't usually expect. It's something you don't see too often. And I think doing it this early as well is not something you expect. So unless they scout it, then they're going to have a really unpleasant surprise.
Pink doesn't
This is the sort of time where you're still fighting and still determining the ground wars. And if you manage to sneak out some bombers during this time, your opponent just isn't going to expect it.
Especially since Pink doesn't seem to have any anti-air at all.
Lots of ants moving straight in towards the middle of Team Black's base, and it looks like they just haven't noticed. Not nearly enough radar coverage up, and they're going to be unpleasantly surprised. A lot of units here that are going to need to be dealt with. Need to get some levelers in on the action there.
Where are they? Yeah, but they're now moving all their units that way now to defend against it.
We see a beautiful placement of T2 radar to the left-hand side of Pink's base, which is going to give them great coverage if they want to do more raiding over there. Team Pink, though, taking quite a bit of map control, trying to expand all over the place. Team Black has a lot less map control. They need to make that switch up to T2 mechs, maybe. Already working on a couple of T2 power gens.
it's just the efficiencies screwing with their metal income team. Collins team's just flipping up and down with metal income, which probably comes from their power problems.
That might give Team Black an opportunity to get back in the game, trying to put up some T2 point defense here as well. They've actually pushed those ants back. It looks like they didn't want to push any further through.
Yes.
Having a look at the air factory, it's 80% of the way through, and a scout goes straight over the air factory. What a devastating thing.
And
just as that air factory comes up and bombers start being produced, it's just been scout. That is really unlucky.
Let's hope that one of the pink players remembers to actually watch the base.
Well, they'll still see it on the radar if they actually look over there.
Good point. But I think players at this level won't miss such a thing. The scout looks like manually controlled anyway, so they've noticed. They've definitely noticed.
So Team Black are beginning to turtle a bit. You can see they're beginning to get hemmed in on all sides by Team Pink. Good work from Team Pink, really dominating the map control at the moment. Got quite a few units on the front lines near the North Pole as well. Probably going to bunch them all together and then move them in simultaneously.
Is there a lot of Tech 2 in there? It's primarily Tech 1 army. There's
but
no Tech
levelers
2.
Are really on the field now. To the bottom right-hand side of Team Black's base, they're moving in with a couple of levelers, going to see if they can get some wins against these T1 turrets and put a lot more harassment on Team Pink.
That would definitely help Team Black, yes.
Putting pelters up on the front lines as well. They were very good in the last game.
Team Black pushing up with even more units and now running into the giant blob we mentioned earlier of Team Pink at the North Pole. Team Pink actually retreating over there.
Yeah, Team Pink does not want to push yet. You can't really blame them. It looks pretty even between them. And we see those levelers actually making great progress now. They're just staying at range, doing what they do best, taking care of those turrets with 0 losses. So just 3 levelers here, causing a real annoyance and something that definitely needs to be dealt with from Team Pink.
But will it be enough? This is just one small area of their giant base that covers everything where Black isn't really.
Little wins always count.
Good point.
Every little bit adds up.
Both teams running at the same metal income. Surprisingly, Team Black is not really suffering from this lack of ground control at all, if we look at the metal.
And great wins here from Team Black. They've basically pushed Team Pink off this area, got a very nice win, and they're going to be able to potentially move over here and grab some more mechs, which is definitely what they want with a lack of map control at the moment. Taking a look, we see 2 T2 bombers flying around.
And
third one already built.
They're focusing quite heavy with like 7 engineers, or no, 8. But even 9 engineers focusing on the Tech 2 factory.
We also see artillery being built from these T2 factories, which is something you might think is a bit unusual, but it's something that some of the players have been using quite a bit recently. They do have more range. They're actually very, very effective, and even against levelers, they can really outclass them.
It's because of the range advantage, isn't obviously.
Yeah.
But you'll need sight as well. But the Tech 2 radar will help with that.
The 2 massive groups of units here look quite even, but there's a lot of levelers in the mix for Team Black, so they may be able to use those levelers to their advantage and push forward against Team Pink.
But they're running into this wall of turrets now, so they're quickly taking those out.
Pretty quickly, and now we're going to see a massive, massive fight here. And trying to stay at range for Team Black, use their levelers to their advantage, have maximum DPS over Team Pink, and it's working. They're getting big wins. They haven't lost too much, and Team Pink forced to retreat here as they lose quite a lot of units, and Team Black can actually start moving forwards with that rather nasty looking death ball.
It's a nice battle for Team Black.
We see a lot of T2 bombers. Fighters there just come over against that T2 bomber and take out one of them. We still have 2, 4, 5, I think we have 6 and a 7th just come off. This is getting into the territory of enough to do a snipe. This is pretty exciting indeed. Still looks very even. What are the mass scores like at the moment?
Even, actually. Both teams have 700 metal. Looking at build efficiency, only Collins' team is stalling from time to time, and not a long time. So it just dips below the energy threshold and then goes up again.
Things still looking very even. These 3 levelers that destroyed that area are just keeping on going, destroying more and more. If they don't get checked, then they're really going to keep doing damage. This little death ball at the front of units is also doing pretty well. More than enough levelers in here to deal with these ants. So things are actually going very well for Team Black. It looks like things are moving in their favour again.
So if I were Team Black, I'd try to keep distracting them with this land battle and then suddenly swoop in with the bombers to
Yeah,
take out
definitely.
the commander.
I think one thing they really need to do is spam out T1 fighters, because they could lose every single one of those T2 bombers to some fighters, and it really doesn't hurt to get them.
Well, Team Pink doesn't really focus on fighters to defend the commander. They spammed out a ton of Tech 1 anti-air.
Nice manoeuvring and unit placement from Team Black. They're avoiding this death ball and coming in here so they can actually destroy some production and get some wins. Team Pink now trying to come in and deal with them, but there's just too many levelers here. I don't think they're going to be able to get close. And Team Black is steamrolling through right now.
Oddly enough, it's the only place on the planet that actual fighting is happening. On the other places, it's just some expanding and not really that much action. So it's really this place where all the fighting is happening.
It's very unusual to see that. Usually you'll see fighting happening all over the place on a planet like this, especially when we have all sides covered by multiple areas. A single leveler from Team Pink actually moving in here on the left-hand side of Black's base, and they're beginning to spam out catapults. They used this in the last game. It was very successful for them. They've got a T2 radar there and beginning to build some catapults now. That could be quite an annoyance.
Especially if they manage to take out the Tech 2 air factory.
Indeed, but so many T2 bombers now in the field just keep getting built.
And just as we said that Black is only attacking at one side, Black is now moving a lot of units through the base to the other side. And
to the left-hand side, which is a great idea. Keep the opponents occupied on the right-hand side and then send a big attack in on the left-hand side. And we see 12 bombers, T2 bombers on the field now, so they're definitely ready to do a snipe. All they need to do is make sure they have enough fighters so they don't get shot down.
Makes me wonder, what is Pink actually doing with her metal? Because both teams have enough metal, but somehow Black is using its units way more efficiently.
Yeah, things are beginning to slip away from Team Pink, but that happened in the last game, so I am not ruling anything out in this one.
Good point.
A lot of these units from Team Black have been lost. These pelters have actually done a brilliant job at holding them at bay and really thinning out the forces, and not too much left for this force now. It looks like Team Pink will actually be able to defend here.
Yep, but the group of units come actually quite close to the heart of Team Pink's base, which is their commander.
But I think as soon as they've dealt with that threat, we're going to see all the units for Team Black move over to the left-hand side, start pushing forwards, and they're moving towards this catapult area now, trying to get up some T2 point defense. They'll be very effective, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're going to be able to move forwards here. Coming into range of this area, we do see the T2 turrets up. If they walk into it, they'll take pretty heavy losses. Trying to get up a second T2 as well, and being built very, very quickly. T2 there just ripping through all these units.
And the units shooting and missing the anti-air fighters. Look at them, they weren't targeting the structures at all.
Ooh, just about managed to destroy those turrets there. I think they're going to be successful mildly. They've destroyed a lot, but they haven't completely got rid of that area. Trying to get rid of that catapult, just focusing all the fire on it, and didn't quite get rid of it.
They failed that attack, yes.
Oh, I really want to see some more fighters from Team Black right now.
Yep. They've got...
I mean, potentially, if Team Pink sent in a whole load of fighters, they could destroy all those bombers just on a scouting run.
That would be grand. Team Black now focusing on another area of attack, assembling a blob there, probably going to over the north side too. They're just picking an area. If it doesn't work there, they're going for somewhere else.
We see scouting going on by Team Black, scouting right over towards the North Pole there, and this is very important. This means a snipe attempt is imminent. And they've really got to scout everywhere. There's quite a lot of areas to check. That area with the catapults has been taken care of now.
Team Pink putting down even more Tech 1 AA with their commander. Just want to have him hidden in a field of anti-air.
Yeah, where is the commander? I can't even see him.
North Pole, and then go straight in a line straight through their base, and then a bit to the left.
Oh, I see. Yes. In a lot of anti-air, I think. Oh wow, they've just been scouted. Scouts have just gone over.
Let's see if the bombers will start moving. Yes, the bombers have started moving. Let's follow them. This is deep
here they come.
Sniper attempt.
I don't think they're going to make it. I think they'll come close, but I think there'll be units in the way, and I think those anti-air will just about shoot down enough. A nice move is to send in the fighters first, get them to draw some of the fire, and then send the bombers in immediately afterwards.
Which is what they're doing. The bombers slow down for a bit and let the fighters go first.
Here we go, here we go. You've got to be very careful with your unit movements here. They're going to be seen now. So now they've been seen. Team Pink knows that they're coming. And it's a good idea to move land units in the way as well. In they come for the snipe. Oh, God, where are they going? They're heading totally the wrong way. Oh, they may be intentionally trying to go for factories instead. They can do a lot of damage to production that way. Being chased by a couple of fighters. Down goes one, down goes the second, down goes the third. Need to get their fighters in there to protect them. And it looks like they're going for new targets now, and it looks like a complete waste. Coming in at the commander, but it's going to be a complete waste. They're not going to be able to be successful here.
Nope, and they failed.
That was unusual moves.
Why did they go for the factories first? They did just
It
miscalculate.
looked intentional. It looks like they were coming in for the snipe, and then they changed their mind. Perhaps it was a
ton of anti-air.
pathing issue.
Yeah, a pathing issue would be very unfortunate. Now it's back to the ground game. Team Pink has a very larger blob than Team Black over here on the right side of Team Black space.
Oh wow, Team Black making good progress at the North Pole, actually sending in a good force of ants, coming up against a couple of levelers, but they outnumber them, so they should be okay. Staying in range. The leveler, however, moving out of range, going to be able to pick off quite a few ants as he goes. And at the North Pole, we see T2 bots and a whole load of ants. They're really pushing hard now in the land war. And on the right-hand side of Team Black's base, they're also having a decent fight with Team Pink as well. Couple of levelers to the south of Black's base as well, just making a good progress. Just a couple of levelers like this can really make great progress when you're dealing with larger groups of units elsewhere.
It all depends on the economy game. Looking at the economy, Collins' team has just way more metal income.
Wow, really? Because Team Black is looking ahead at the moment.
It's probably because they finally managed to change their area advantage, their map control advantage, into an economy advantage. Sorry.
This is interesting because at the North Pole, there's a whole load of T2 production, and Team Black is really concentrating on going for it.
Let's hope they take it out.
Also sending in units from the right-hand side of their base. Quite a few artillery and levelers in the mix there, going to be moving in towards the north.
Funnily enough, Team Pink isn't really being aggressive with their units. They're kind of holding back, just like the second match of these three.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford to at the moment. All of these ants, though, are running to their doom, and fairly well defended by Team Pink here. Looks like they could have made progress, but they haven't.
They're just trickling in one by one now, being taken out there at the North Pole.
Engineers here run into a turret and get a rude awakening.
Black's team at the right side of Black's base has a large force with lots of levelers and artillery, but they don't have vision. Apparently, the radar must have been taken out.
They have T2 radar just south of them.
Oh, so why isn't their artillery firing then?
I think they're almost in range now.
And
so I like this play, doing a little bit of kiting with your artillery, because unless you're paying attention to the micro a lot, then you will often get screwed over by that.
This is obvious. It's obvious that two players are playing this battle right here. They're trying to take out the Tech 2 radar, and if they do, they can just run back. Yes, exactly what they're doing, run back and kill everything that's coming to them.
Oh wow, things are going back in terms of Team Pink's favour. We see all these artillery forced to retreat here, absolutely raining down fire and destroying a lot of that force. But on the left-hand side here, we see 7 levelers, and they're going to come forward. They're completely unchecked right now. That's not going to be good for them. We see some more T2 bombers out, actually. 2, 4, 6, 7, about 8 or so.
What? Oh, so they're going to go for more Tech 2 bombers?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Good point.
If anything, going for an Uber sniper attempt would be quite a nice idea. Going for like 20 T2 bombers and just going for it a whole lot harder this time.
I'd throw in a nuke as well, but they don't have the economy to support it. The nuke would take out all the Tech 1 air defense. And
yes, do we see any... Oh yeah, a nuke would be pretty epic, wouldn't it? Do we see any nukes anywhere? I don't see any for Team Black.
Nope, they don't have the economy to support it. Team Black is running at a metal income of 600, whilst Collins' team is running at 1.2 thousand. They have doubled the income.
I think I see an advantage in terms of Team Pink right now, because they're heading in around the back of the base, destroying some of this T1 power, not a major thing. Coming under a bit of fire from the pelters, however, but not something you want coming around the back of your base. And he's forced here to use the T2 bombers to defend, and I see nothing wrong with that. They already know that you've got T2S, so there's nothing too much wrong with that. And helping to get rid of those levelers there.
So Team Pink is playing it safe now, using their economic advantages to defend well and then send in attack force from time to time.
Yeah, and still putting a lot of build power into T2 production. I think that's the right move. Play a little bit cautious, get a whole load of T2 production up, and use the eco advantage, macro a bit.
In the meantime, Team Black has a very solid force now with these levelers and artillery. This is a serious threat.
Yeah, and they're moving their radars forwards, moving into range. Going to start doing some damage here. Not too much to defend for them. As long as they keep microing out of range, they'll be okay.
Building a new Tech 2 radar to have vision over this area. They really want to have the vision with the artillery.
Yep, they're creeping their T2 radar very close together, which is a little bit inefficient, but I guess they really want vision radius. And I mean, with this vision radius now, they know they can take on these tanks, so they can stay at range, get some decent wins. You see those units from Team Pink vaporized there.
If they can take out these 9 factories, it will put a big dent into Pink's Tech 2 production.
Yeah, that will really set them back. I think they really need to do that.
But on the other hand, on the other side of the planet, there's 20 more Tech 2 factories for Pink. It's ridiculous. They're running at have about 30 Tech 2 factories constantly producing levelers, I think. Yes.
This is Gunshin. A lot of ants now for Team Black, and that's not too good. You really need to be switching up to T2 now, because they're just going to be completely outclassed.
They just don't have the economy to support that many T2, I'd say.
Yeah, things are looking difficult for Team Black. They need to get some big wins here.
Yeah. So unless their Tech 2 super army with the artillery can actually take out the commander, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if they rush the commander right now, I mean, the commander would have to start running.
Tech 2 bombers on the move. They're probably running away from
scouting with interceptors coming straight over the main base. Coming straight in at where the commander was.
Yes.
Get taken down, but they might have seen the commander. The commander's now on the move. Bombers are on their way. They're going to go straight over the T2 and go run into the fighters. This is not going to work.
Nope. It won't, and the land army won't be enough.
Fighters come in, they won't get anywhere.
This is bad move.
Nice defense.
Nice defense.
Units, however, moving forwards, and nothing here really to stop them. They're going to keep moving forwards. The commander's on the run now. He is on the run. He needs to get units there to protect him, and he needs to get out of there. So we're going to see a win from Team Black now, moving in, destroying this T2 production that Kohler built at the North Pole.
Yes, and it would be a smart move if they move this. The Pink moves their commander back towards the 20 advanced factories they have in the other base.
Yeah.
He's just going to keep running with his commander.
Team Black has lost a huge amount at the front of their base. It looks like levelers have been making progress, destroying all the T1 factories there, and it looks like these levelers are actually going to break through. And this is last chance saloon time for Team Black. This is their one all-in rush now. It's whether these units can catch up with the commander and do some damage.
There's just so much base in between them and the commander.
Yeah, the thing is, as long as the commander keeps moving straight, they actually can't catch him.
Especially not with these defensive forces moving in to take on.
Yeah, see levelers coming in from the right hand side. They'll be able to deal with these levelers relatively well. Getting pincer movement at the moment, so these levelers are going to be in a little bit of trouble being attacked from two sides. Doing great work though, quite a few of them, but they're being lost. They're being thinned out really, really badly. Too many levelers against them, and Team Black isn't going to make it here. Taken down by sheer weight of levelers.
So most of they have is artillery now, artillery without vision. Neptunio of the black team is calling the GG, and it's over.
Wow, what a great game. Well played, Team Pink.
A very, very exciting start as well.
Very back and forth again.
So the winners of this year's this period's 2v2 tournament are Carla Collin and Gunshin.
Yeah. We had some unbalanced games in the previous rounds, but the final, I think, more than made up for it. Really brilliant play by both sides. We'll watch Neptunio walk his commander in now. Coming up against Mance. Level it to finish him off.
And we're going to get our nice little ending shot. The final commander being taken out after this long tournament. It took longer than expected, actually. Boom goes the commander. Thanks for watching, everyone.